Hey guys, what's up? Lee Sanders here of the RCWR Show, coming at you with a little bit of interesting news this weekend of August 1st, 2015. Hard to believe we're already in August. And I know a lot of you guys are checking out the UFC 190 event right now that should be wrapping up probably in the next 90 minutes or maybe less. But something interesting that came about, if you haven't been keeping track of social media right on down to the UFC prelims, is UFC president Dana White, who has been hyping up the event all weekend long. He is in a bit of a, excuse the French, shitstorm right now with professional wrestling fans from all over the world over some very controversial remarks that he made about pro wrestling. Now, let's rewind it back. As keep in mind, a lot of wrestling fans right now are mourning the loss of WWE Hall of Famer Rowdy Roddy Piper, who died of cardiac arrest at the age of 61. You have Ronda Rousey, who decided to dedicate her title defense in his honor at this UFC 190 event tonight. Everything kicks off with Dana White upsetting wrestling fans all over the world via Twitter as he was interacting with a UFC and a WWE fan, as the fan had this to say about missing out on ordering tonight's UFC 190 event. He says, "I wish I could watch the Rousey fight tomorrow night. Vince, you got correction, Vince got you beat, Dana White. Our pay-per-views are only $9.99." Now, this conversation thread, it did go down earlier today, but I guess for this young guy here, I guess he's not going to be able to access the UFC event, probably not till the next day or whatever. But Dana White replies to this person and says, "I hear you, bro, but fake shit should be $9.99. That fan would reply back and say, "Bro, try it out sometime, walk out of the ring and tell me it's fake." Dana would come right back and say, "Trust me, my friend, it's fake." Dana White, I guess, would obviously kind of at the last split second, hey, I think I said something that might have been offensive. He tried to do a little bit of damage control by telling that same fan, not disrespecting what they do. All the WWE guys I have met are awesome people, but yes, it's fake. As you would imagine, a lot of people, a lot of wrestling celebrities came left and right. You had Bully Ray, who had this to say to Dana: "Good thing you had fake Brock Lesnar in the UFC to be your biggest pay per view draw of all time." Austin Aries posting a very bloody picture of himself after doing a legitimate headbutt said, "This is what a fake headbutt looks like, Dana White, complete with fake blood stitches and image and imaginary time off." Crazy. Bull Dempsey, "Hey, Dana White, nice challenge right here. Come to the WWE Performance Center and see what we do every day and tell me it's fake. Send your ultimate fighters too. How dare you?" Jeremy Borash would actually receive an interaction from Dana, as Jeremy had said to Dana, "Legit canceled my UFC buy for tonight, instead sending $50 to Nick Bali, a UK wrestler paralyzed during a fake wrestling match." Dana White would come right back and say to Jeremy Borash, "It's free in the UK, you goofball." Jeremy Borash would respond right back to Dana and said, "Hey man, I live in Nashville. It's kind of amazing to see how your brilliance just continues on." So I mean, that gives you a bit of a taste of how everybody has just been coming to, and they've been coming to the defense of pro wrestling. I think honestly, when it's all said and done, this is a very sensitive issue or a very sensitive topic to be talking about right now, especially considering the hot rod Roddy Piper has died. I mean, touched the lives of a lot of people all over the world. A lot of people are mourning. I'm definitely still in mourning. I've been checking out the Hot Rod matches left and right all day today, pretty much since I had first heard the news. I just don't get Dana White. On the one hand, we see this great thing go down at this past year's WrestleMania with Ronda Rousey being involved in a really awesome WrestleMania moment that has a lot of people hoping that one day we'll see her back in the WWE or just come back to pro wrestling. I think that four-letter word, when you use that four-letter word, which is fake, the people just come from all out of the woodwork. Now, honestly, a lot of what goes on in professional wrestling, as far as the finishes, certain spots, certain moves that play out in the match, those are predetermined. I don't think anybody would dispute that. But to say fake, that's an entirely different story. Just this week alone, if you WWE fans know your product well, or you're a casual wrestling fan at least, you know that John Cena was legitimately injured in a match with Seth Rollins in the main event on WWE Raw, where Seth Rollins had did a nice, good, strong knee to the face of Cena, busted his nose up really bad. He was bleeding everywhere. Guy has to get surgery on his nose now. You should see the pictures that's floating around of how his nose looks currently. Guy still doesn't look as handsome as he used to be. All right. Then you go to the diva side. Alicia Fox, longtime WWE diva, one of the most underrated divas that is on that roster. She legitimately suffered a concussion. No telling how long she's going to be out. Or we don't have to stick with WWE. You go to TNA. There was a wrestler by the name of Jesse Sorson. Broke his damn neck. Looked as though this kid was probably going to be paralyzed like Christopher Reeves, but luckily, through prayers, good rehab, physical rehab, the guy's okay. He's now wrestling again. I mean, legit injuries do happen. To say that what the men and women do in that ring is fake, I think I kind of have an idea of what Dana was trying to say, but he really should have chosen his words more carefully. I think if he would have said to that fan, yeah, but I mean, come on, let's be honest. A lot of what goes on in some of these promotions is predetermined. Honestly, there wouldn't have been any kind of way you could dance around that. Dana White would have you beat. But instead, he chose to use that four-letter word that, yeah, without a doubt, and the way fans are feeling so passionate right now, especially after the loss of the Hot Rod, yeah, they're going to be coming all out of the woodwork and they're going to be gunning for Dana. I just don't get Dana White when it's all said and done. I mean, on the one hand, you got Dana White. It seems like he has no problem doing business with a Brock Lesnar, a Ken Shamrock, entertaining the idea of possibly doing work with a Bobby Lashley, bringing on CM Punk. On the one hand, you see all these moves that he's doing, and you're saying to yourself, oh, well, I guess he kind of does have a spot for pro wrestling. But then when you see him on social media make these type of comments that he makes, you're kind of left scratching your head wondering, well, damn, dude, you just loaned Ronda Rousey to the WWE. Just where exactly is your alliance as far as wrestling goes? Yeah, you want UFC to thrive. You want UFC to succeed in any way possible. But like, where exactly is your allegiance as a fan to pro wrestling? Because if you're really in support of professional wrestling or sports entertainment, whatever it's going to be called, the last thing you want to do is alienate those same fans that 9 times out of 10 are coming around to watch your UFC events. I don't know, guys. That's all I have to say with regards to this situation. But if I'm Dana White, Twitter, and that's the thing with Twitter, you can only make your point in 140 characters. That's the one thing I've never liked about Twitter. Granted, you shouldn't be writing an entire freaking biography on there, but you got to be really clever. You got to be real sassy if you're trying to make some serious points on there. I think in the case of Dana White, just to try to do damage control, making a mental note of how sensitive some wrestling fans may feel right now this weekend. Whenever Dana White has the opportunity in the next couple of days, maybe he should release some type of a video exclusive on YouTube, or maybe they can catch him for a post UFC 190 show, something where he can just kind of set the record straight, or hell, maybe even call into the Joe Rogan show and really try to connect all the dots, mark all his X's and O's, just to make sure that fans know exactly where it is that he's coming from. That's all I have to say with regards to that. I definitely would love to hear from you guys. So I know there's a lot of you all that are wrestling fans, MMA fans. Post your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think about what all Dana White had to say with regards to this. And we'll follow up on you all's reactions on our Tuesday night podcast edition of the RCWR show. Yes, we will be doing our own retrospect / tribute edition to the Hot Rod Rowdy Roddy Piper. So make sure you join us for that. I promise it's going to be a solid episode. We're not just going to talk all Hot Rod, but a good portion of our show will be talking about him. I have a lot of things that I want to say. I've just been kicking back, just trying to lay low, but I thought this was kind of a nice thing to kind of get you guys talking throughout the community. So you could join us for that podcast this Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. All the links you need is down below. That's going to do it. Till next go around, be safe, be kind to one another. Follow me on Twitter at the RCWR Show. Like us on Facebook, Infinity One Productions. Take care, everybody.